but she's a bit of an attention seeker. So if she does kind of skittle around, and if she's probably going to be jumping up on that chair anytime soon. So please just ignore. But so that's my caveated apology for this.
Well, talking of attention seekers, Laura, Danny and I. Never mind. Sorry, Danny, you were going to say something. I completely interrupted.
I'm just here for the dog chat, Laura, to be honest. I mean, I just have everyone in gallery view. If people could just have their pets in just in the background, that'd be fantastic.
Well, her name's Jessie and she's got a lot of opinions, so just brace yourself.
Fantastic. So if you are new, by the way, if you are new to what we do at Actors Coaching International and you want to find out more about us and be part of these free monthly sessions as well as other classes we do, go to our website, actorscoachinginternational.com. I can see quite a few of our actors here. Bernard, I can see Sarah, I can see Tammy, Elizabeth, all these wonderful people. So yeah, do go to our website or send us an email as well, hello@actorsci.com.
And Cecile looked very upset that we didn't mention her name.
Oh, Cecile, yeah.
Just want to say. So Dan, can I kick us off? Because I want to say, I was just saying to Laura before you all came in that the purpose for me of this session is to show you, it might sound ridiculous really, but show you how nice Laura is. And the purpose of me showing you, of us showing you how nice Laura is that we are all in this business together. And that there's a lot of mystery about certain things, and there's a lot of recognition that people can help us on with our career. It becomes very unnatural, and the words networking have an offensive connotation in England. People don't like those sorts of things, and the purpose of this for me is that we can show the human side of what is essentially a very, very human business, very human business. So that's my purpose. And I want to say about asking questions. If you've got questions you want to ask, please put your electronic yellow, I think they're yellow, hand up, and or write it in the chat so we can pick some out and ask them. But Laura, I've got some questions here. And I want to start off with the boring one, I'm afraid. And the boring one is about do's and don'ts. In your experience, what is, and have you got an example of a time that an actor came in to a casting and really surprised you positively?
Oh, positively. I mean, it happens all the time in the sense of if someone brings something unusual to a take, or if they're just really refreshing.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
Okay, you're really putting me on the spot. So if someone is able to bring something that I wasn't expecting to a take, something either new, or it is really, this sounds maybe worse than I mean it, but when someone is able to take direction really well and they really are listening to what you're saying, and they're able to translate that into a really nice, clean take, that is sometimes, maybe surprising isn't the right word, but it's really joyful is what it is. I think there's something really beautiful about that. And I think it's so easy. And I think we all do it in everyday life. When somebody is giving you a lot of instruction or a lot of direction, you're like, yeah. And your eyes are kind of going wider and wider because really you're not actually listening. And we do it every day like I do it all the time. If someone at the bank is telling me lots of information, I'm like, yeah, sure, I get it. I don't, I'm not taking it in. And casting can sometimes be the same. And I understand it because as actors, you want to try and take all this information and do what you can with it, but sometimes we're giving you a lot. So what am I trying to say here? I think that it's always really impressive when an actor is just really, really listening and either has the confidence to say, oh, I didn't quite catch that. Can you repeat that? Can I just dig in a bit more to what you mean by that? So that's always really nice and refreshing and really important as well, because, it's partly our jobs to be able to to translate for you or to direct you in a way that makes sense, and is very clear. But sometimes we're maybe not using words that work for you or that make sense, or, you know, we're not using the right language to kind of get you in the right headspace. So it's also up to you guys, I think, to say, oh, you know what, like, actually, like, I don't quite get what you mean there, or yeah, can you repeat that? So in that sense, it's always really nice when, yeah, someone could put their hand up and say that, and or then just listen really well to what you're saying and kind of translate that into a take. Sorry, I feel like I've gone around the houses with that.
No, it's good. It's good because it leads me in a way when you're saying that to feel. I could probably speak for half of the people here to say about how much of a gamble we feel it is to be able to ask a question of you in that situation, and also what a gamble it is for us to do something that we might feel is not, you know, what they are looking for. So it feels like a fine line.
It is a fine line, but I think ultimately, like, you know, we're here to help get you a job. And if you view us in some ways as like a job hunter or like a headhunter, like, you wouldn't be scared to ask them, oh, like, what are the specifics of the job that you're putting me up for? And in a way, it's the same. I know it's not quite a clean kind of comparison there, but, you know, we're here to help you and you're there to help us. Like, it's mutual. So I think asking questions always really shows that you're interested, you want to do a good job, that you're also up for maybe changing what you've done or what you had envisioned the character, that you're flexible and you're confident enough as well to say, like, oh, maybe I didn't quite get that right, but like, let's chat about it. Let's find a different way to find whatever it is in the character that we need to find. So I think asking questions is really important, and I'd really encourage it. I mean, I'm not saying, like, you know, ask for an essay's worth of information, but I think, yeah, it's a really nice way as well to get to know who you're in the room with as well, which is also important. But I can understand that it might feel a little bit intimidating if you're one-on-one with someone in a casting room, or, you know, with casting director and a director and a producer. But I think ultimately questions are only ever going to be appreciated, and they're only ever going to show that you're invested, I think.
Yeah. What comes up for me, Laura, you know, when you say about being willing to be flexible, being willing to you know, be connected to the reader, for example. I know Rupert's on this call. Hi, Rupert. You know, and you've called him in recently for this big project several times for several roles. And it's just knowing, okay, great, this person that you know can do a really good job, can show up, can do a great cracking tape, etc., etc. So for me, it also comes down to presence as well, and just trusting trusting yourself.
Absolutely. I mean, Rupert, I haven't seen you yet. Hold on. I think maybe you're on like page 2 or 3. Oh, there I see you. Hello. How are you, Rupert? So lovely to see you. Well, it's always a pleasure to have Rupert in the room, but that's partly because, you know, he comes in and he's so confident and he has a chat and he asks questions. And I think, yeah, I just think it's so, I think that's what's really refreshing and surprising, really, to come back to the very first question, I think. But yeah.
When you talk about refreshing as well, it strikes me that, you know, I was just saying before about what they want. You know, it's very often the case. I would imagine Danny, as an agent, gets this a lot. Well, you know, you'll sort of put somebody up something. They'll you know, you'll call them in and say, well, what are they looking for? I have a guess on what the answer could be here, Laura. You know, could you talk to that a little bit about what they are looking for?
Yeah, I can. I mean, I feel like, yes, that's such a like an amorphous entity, isn't it? That's exactly. Really, you know, it's making the people involved often seem very mysterious and kind of otherworldly and kind of unreachable in many ways. I think the they is often kind of closer than you think, and I think often the they is often the casting director. And I will slightly caveat this with sometimes they don't know what they want, which is partly the job of the casting director, right? Like, we're there to translate what they think they want and to maybe show them something different. And I have a lot of experience in commercials, and that is really common in commercials. Advertising agents agencies, they think they know what they want, which is absolutely fine. And often they get what they want, but I think it's important for casting directors to suggest alternatives and suggest other ways of doing it. I don't think you as actors should necessarily worry about what you think they want. I think your job is to focus on what you've been given, which is often a side, some materials, a little bit of context. I think that's what you need to focus on, because if you're focusing on what some unknowable, anonymous person wants, you're going to get lost.
You're second guessing stuff rather than just coming back to your authentic truth.
Yeah.
I just want to also just touch on something you just said there, Laura, because obviously you said you've got a lot of experience in commercials. Now, we met as friends when you're working at Ham & Cox.
Yeah.
Lovely Michael and Tom. Hands up if you've been seen by Ham & Cox at all. Yeah.
Oh, quite a few hands. That's exciting.
Yeah. And how did you find it? Because I know you took a little sabbatical in between, but how did you find it moving from, Tom and Michael's office to, Theo's office?
That's a good question. Well, I mean, I will absolutely put it out there very loud and proud. I love commercials. I think it's a really fun and brilliant industry. I love that it's quite fast and it's fast paced, and you know what, if you don't like someone you're working with, you're only often working with them for 2 or 3 weeks, so it's really nice and quick and snappy. But I also really enjoy getting to meet actors in quite a structured way, and to see what kind of beats they can hit, because that's what commercial casting is often about. Unfortunately, it's not always about the creative side of it, but it's about hitting a beat really quickly. And I think that's always a really interesting, not a test for an actor, but it's just an interesting challenge, I think. So I know commercials isn't everyone's favorite side of the industry, but I love it. But yeah, it was a definite change of pace to then move into more kind of fiction and drama. I did take a little sabbatical. I went and did some studying, and then I actually spent a year, or a bit less than a year, with Andy Briley and Victor Jenkins. I'm sure lots of you guys know as well, who are also absolute sweethearts. And then I've come into Theo's office. So yeah, it's definitely been a welcome and beautiful change. I think the differences with drama is that there is a bit more of a creative process. And here comes the dog. Hold on.
Hey, that's a dog.
Coming? Yes. No, she just wants attention. I told you, attention seeker. No, here we go. Come on. Okay, there we go. I will try and keep her out of view. Sorry, guys. She's a bit, she wants the affection. But yeah, so with drama and fiction, it's just a lot more about, there's definitely still hitting beats for an actor. But often, and obviously they're longer moments, they're longer scenes, and there's just so much more opportunity, I think, to play around with those moments, which is really exciting. So yeah, it's definitely been a different change of pace. But yeah, I don't know how much more I can speak to that. I don't know if anyone's got a specific question on it. It's kind of hard to explain.
I have a question following on from it in terms of the difference in a way, because you do TV comedy as well as TV serious stuff, and do you find that there's a different requirement from the actors coming each of those medium?
Do you know what, John? I'm going to chuck this dog off because she is very distracting. I think there's a different requirement. I think with comedy sometimes there is an element of being up for improv. I think sometimes that's obviously a really different challenge. And sorry, I felt the dog is totally thrown me.
That was an improv moment, you see.
Yeah, she's just wants a lot of attention. Do you know what? It's because she hasn't been walked yet, guys. So I'm really sorry to admit that. That is what it is that I'm on here instead of walking her, and she's definitely showing she's very unhappy about that. But do I think there's any difference really between TV comedy and drama? I mean, this is going to be such another boring answer, though. I mean, sometimes it just depends. It just depends on the role, and it depends on the scene. But ultimately, you're going to have to be as prepared for both, aren't you? I think I just wonder with comedy, sometimes they might throw you the request of some improv, I think, and maybe
also,
be stuck with that.
You know, just to take it back to the commercials thing, one of the reasons why I love commercials is because the timing on commercials, it's a miniature film, and the timing is so good. If you can get a few commercials right, then actually, you know, it stands you in really good stead, you know, for a film, for a TV series, things like that.
No, it's so true. I think commercials are such a good, just like a playground for actors as well. And I think I don't want to use the word test because I feel like it kind of has negative connotations, you know, pass or fail. But I think it's just a really good way to get on a set as well and just see how that works, especially if you're early on in your career. Like, you know, that's a way of seeing what a set looks like, how it works, who's a production coordinator, who's a first AD, who's a second AD, who are all these people I'm being surrounded by. I think commercials are really important for that. I think they're a really great way to get into the industry. And I think a really great way to see whether maybe one of your strengths as an actor is to be able to portray, as you said, like kind of like a mini film, or like, you know, kind of condensed emotional journey into some very clean, simple beats and simple takes.
And the contacts you make from commercials as well. So, you know, either through casting or through directors or through producers. Yeah, it's really, really
100%. Often a lot of the directors they want, you know, they're in commercials maybe early on in their career. They're going to be doing other things. Like, it can be so handy. Yeah. I feel like I'm going to get boring because I'm just going to be extolling the virtues of commercials this entire chat. So
in terms of these of the small films, so to speak, there's a lot of questions going to be asked from people about how do you get seen and how do we get in, and you know, especially the unrepresented actors. You know, how do we make this progress and traction? And there are ways. I sometimes think about people sending in unsolicited 30-second, 20-second, 10-second, 1 minute films that you've made yourself based on what you're currently casting. What are your thoughts on that, basically, on receiving unsolicited short examples of people working?
I would say broadly, it's a really good idea. I think, you know, I know a lot of casting directors will always have a lot of different opinions, and like worth saying now, like obviously what I'm saying is just from a personal preference. I know a lot of casting directors have a lot of different opinions on these kind of questions. For me, I'm all for writing to casting directors, saying hi, but I would generally recommend to write to them either yes with something to show, so something that you've either made yourself, which is always a great idea, and a really great way as well to meet other people if you are making your own stuff, or writing to them saying, hey, I've recently done this thing, or I'm going to be coming up in this show. That's a good way to reach out to casting directors. I think as a personal preference, and I think from what I've heard from kind of a few of my peers, that's the kind of preferred way. And I would say to not overload casting directors with those kind of emails. So, you know, rather than, you know, and this isn't to fault anyone that does it, but, you know, sometimes you get actors who kind of send you a monthly update, and that is probably a little bit too much, I think. You know, I'd say maybe per every couple of projects, or every couple of months, I think is a bit preferred, just because it's just like with you guys, like you must have so much inbox traffic and it's really hard to keep on top of. So I'd say save your emails if you've got something you've made yourself that you can share, and kind of say, hey, this is what I think are my strengths, and this is what I'd be good, this is kind of a good casting bracket for me. Or you've done something and you're like, hey, look at this really cool thing I've done, please have a watch, what do you think? That would be my recommended take on
so that. We have to be sensitive, really. We have to be sensitive to somebody. Say, for example, you look at this chat now, there's 71 people on this conversation here, and if all of us send you 30-second tape every 2 weeks, that's insensitive. And inconsiderate.
It's a lot. But I mean, I think you just need to judge it yourselves, and think about how often would you want to be receiving those kind of emails. So I think just judge it, and I'm sure you'll all judge it. You're all understanding sensitive people. So, you know, you'd judge on the right side of that. But
there's some really cool questions coming in from people here in the chat, Laura, and I just want to draw attention to the first one here. And this is something I do myself as an actor, about sending not just one take on a scene, but also perhaps a separate take as well. So sending 2 separate takes. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm a big fan. I say, why wouldn't you? Why? Like, especially, I personally think, actually, you know what? I was going to contradict myself there. Absolutely across the board, I say send more than 1 take, unless you've been asked to send 1 take. If you've been asked to send 1, just send 1. Like, there'll be a reason for it, so definitely follow instructions. But otherwise, I would always send 2, especially for small day player roles. Like, if that scene is 15 seconds long and you've sent me 1 take, I only get 15 seconds to see you on camera. Like, do yourselves a favor, maximize your time on screen in front of me. Like, why wouldn't you? Like, definitely send 2 takes. Maybe, crazy, send 3, do it. Like, because I can, you know, it's just giving yourselves an advantage. You know what I mean? It's maximizing your time in front of me. And it means that also you can play around, maybe do a couple of different variations. I mean, always, if you want to, caveat in your email, say, hey, I've included a couple takes, like, you know, this might not be what you asked for, but, you know, I've done it just in case. Or, you know, if you feel you need to and you don't need to justify it. But yeah, I'm always a fan. And it actually, and do you know what the reason why I was saying, I'm going to contradict myself, because I was going to say, especially for day player roles, you know, do more than 1 take, but even for bigger roles, like, if you're taping for quite a chunky role, do more than 1 take. Like, there's probably a lot of moments within that scene that could be interpreted different ways. So absolutely send more than 1 take. Show me another way of doing it. Show me another way you've interpreted it. Or I think, well, I don't know what else to say, because I'm just such a big fan of more than 1 take.
But you don't have to watch it if you don't want to watch the second one, you won't. But if there isn't a second one there, then you've got no option. And it strikes me again that there's a lot of fear from the actor's side about upsetting you, because should I send 2 takes? Should I send 3 takes? Am I going to waste their time? Well, basically not, because you just won't watch it if you don't have time, or it's not what you're looking for.
100%. I've never been frustrated by somebody sending me too many takes. I have been frustrated by someone sending me 1 take that's like 10 seconds long. They've trimmed it really tight, so I can't, you know. And if I know that we want to share them with production, or we want to share them with the team, then we know that we're only sharing like a 10-second clip with production. It's just not enough. You know, let us do our jobs and judge what we need to share and what we need to see. So yeah, I mean, I'd always opt for 2 takes, just as
It's interesting, Laura, because what often happens as well is that, I know in my experience of myself, is that I sort of rush things. You know, I'll get to the casting room and I'll be so relaxed, and I'll have done all my bits. I'll have gone for a coffee before, or tea and had lunch, and then get to the room and it's your turn, and it's like, okay, and go in and think, I'm just going to be really quick. I'm not going to waste your time. And you just rush through it rather than owning the time and the space, I guess, and giving you options.
Yeah, I mean, I would also say that in any casting, you do more than 1 take. And, you know, self-tapes kind of, obviously they were there before COVID and before, you know, the pandemic, but they really came to the fore in COVID as a kind of semi-replacement for castings, for in-person auditions. So if we are looking to replicate that experience, then, you know, a self-tape should be more than 1 take, because in a casting, it's rare that you'd only do 1. You know, you do 2 at the minimum, right? So I'd say definitely replicate that. But then in terms of like that feeling of like not wanting to waste time, like nobody wants their time wasted, and everyone's time is precious. But, you know, you're there for a reason. You've been asked in, and, you know, it's our job to see you, and we want to see you. Like, if you're there in front of us, it's because we want to see you, we want to meet you. So like, make the most.
Yeah, I also think that's a win on, you know, on its own, just being seen, being asked to self-tape for a project, and especially multiple requests from the same casting office as well, because as you said, clearly they like you, clearly the casting office likes you and wants you to read for that particular role again. So that, you know, that's a win in itself.
Yeah,
massive win.
There's quite a few questions. Sorry, Dan. Quite a few questions I've seen just quickly zipping up about non-represented actors, as well as the represented actors. You know, how do you choose which offices you call for specific roles? Because I know you know if you only see 10 people, you can't call 300 agents. So can you speak to us a little bit about your views on unrepresented submissions from underrepresented actors, and also who you not who you like, but how do you choose which agencies to go to?
I mean, all good questions. I think I'd say that any office I've worked in has always tried to be very democratic in its choices of, opting for self-represented actors versus represented. I know a lot of really great self-represented actors. Like, there's no stigma or kind of prejudice there, or kind of worry. And especially if they've got a bit of body of work behind them, there's no reason to think that represented actors would be chosen over them for any reason. And that's a good thing to go back to is, with when writing to casting directors, is if you're self-represented, that's a really great way of making contact. And that's how, in all honesty, we're working on a big project right now for Amazon. There are people that we've cast on that show that are self-represented, that they've just got in contact with us, and we've liked their email, we like what they sent us, let's bring them in for a casting, let's see how it goes, and they've ended up getting the job. So in terms of at least the current office I'm working in, there's no hesitancy to see unrepresented. I can't really speak to other offices, and I know it must be tricky as a self-represented actor, that maybe you don't have someone kind of whose job it is to kind of fight your corner. Like, that's you're not only fighting your own corner, you're also kind of producing your work and doing that day to day. So I know it's a lot of work, but at least be safe in the knowledge that there are definitely casting directors who would love to see you and to meet you.
Yeah, I guess as well, Laura, because you work on a lot of long running series, that you need a lot of actors. It's not like you only need 10 people. I mean, Ted Lasso's into it. It's just another series going. So you've got lots of new faces need to come in.
It's true. Yeah, exactly. We always want to see new people. We always have to. Exactly. We literally need it. But in terms of your question about agents, I don't think anyone really has favorites. There are certainly agents that you're going to have really good working relationships with, that you've kind of established over the years. Like Danny is a case in point right now. Like, we've known each other for a really long time. And so you always want to work with people that you know and you trust, and that you get on well with. But again, there's an element of just like kind of being democratic and trying to see as many people from as many agencies. So yeah, I mean, especially as well, like if you send out a brief on Spotlight, right, like you're often sending that brief out to a lot of agents, so a lot of agents can send submissions. So in that sense, it's pretty democratic. And yeah, what else can I say to that? I mean, again, I can only speak for our office really, but we love working with a diverse group, so try not to play favorites.
There's a brilliant question that's come in that I just saw from Catherine. Thanks, Catherine, for your question. And, I've worked in casting myself, so I kind of know the answer to this. But Catherine asks, what does the process look like after an actor submits a tape? Can you talk a little bit about shortlists, penciling in, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So somebody sent in their tape. Thank you very much. We'll often send you an email saying thank you so much. We'll let you know as soon as we've got an update. And if we like their tape and we think they're a good fit for the role, then we'll kind of have them in the mix and we'll share them with production. And when I say production, I mean that can be all sorts of different kinds of people. That can be your exec producers, that can be your director on that block if it's a TV series, so depending on what episode you're going up for, it might depend on which director you're being seen by. That can just also include kind of production coordinators, assistants. So your tape is often then getting shared with all of those people, and often quite a lot of those people are going to have an opinion. It's sometimes that only a few of those people's opinions count, and they are ultimately then making that decision amongst them, and then asking us for advice as to which direction they should go in, who they should opt for. But that process, that conversation between us sharing your tape, I know it must sound ridiculous. It can take a really long time. And sometimes it's as painful for you guys as it is for us. We're the ones who have to very politely kind of keep checking and be like, hey guys, that role is shooting in like a week and a half. Let's keep chatting about this. Let's make a decision. So please don't feel that it's just kind of that we've forgotten about you or that nothing's happening. The conversations are happening. They can just be really slow. And it just takes time. And especially with big productions, you've often, and this, it can be unfortunate. There's often like a lot of red tape to get through as well. Need to get approval from various parties, from various bodies. It can just be quite a slow one. So that's kind of the interim between you sending your tape, us sharing it, and the casting, and then we will make an offer to the successful actor, and then we'll go from there. And then hopefully, and most casting offices are doing this now, we will absolutely endeavor to let you know whether or not you've gotten the role as soon as we can. I know there's a big push in the industry, and our office is really hot on it. We really try as soon as we can to let you know whether or not it's going forward for you. Again, it's so boring, but sometimes it can just take a bit of time. But there's something to caveat this with, though, is that please do feel free, especially if you're self-represented or via your agent, if you haven't heard in a while and you think, I feel like I should have heard by now, do check in with us. It might just be that we need a nudge, or it might just be that the case is, oh, this is so boring, we're still waiting to hear. So please, don't feel worried about checking in on that process if it's been a little while and you're feeling like, I think maybe I should have some news by now. So that I feel like I've gone on a bit of a long-winded route there, but that's kind of the process between you guys, sending in your tapes and us looking at them.
Great answer. No, thank you. There's quite a few questions here in the chat about non-UK based actors, so based outside the UK. Now, obviously, we do many productions outside the UK, but you'd consider actors based in Romania, based in Germany, based in France, just as much as you would, British actors as well, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, goodness. I mean, there are sometimes cases where an actor does have to be London-based or UK-based, and often that's just for logistical reasons. It's for travel. It's for those kind of things. And sometimes, of course, there are questions about visas and all of that kind of, admin, logistical elements of it. But no, absolutely. We would consider those who are abroad. It might just be, again, on certain productions, you might have to be up for relocating yourself or for finding a London base for the interim, aka sleeping on a friend's couch for a couple of weeks. That's sometimes the request there. I mean, we just recently cast someone, where do they live? I mean, they didn't live outside the UK, but they lived super south UK. We really needed them to be London based, and they were like, "Cool, I've got a pal. I'm just going to stay with my pal for a few days," and it was all sorted. And we've cast them. So, and it's the same for European actors, and I think a bit beyond that, but yeah, absolutely.
Follow up to that, Laura, in terms of what American, primarily American producers, the production wants differently from what a British production might want. So that when we get a casting, I think it probably behooves us to check out whether it's for an American production or a British production, probably. In your experience, is there much difference between how actors approach themselves for the different markets?
I can't say that I have found that really.
One less thing to worry about?
No, I don't think so. Again, I don't think it's something that you as actors should be worrying about, really, unless it's really integral to the piece or to the project. I'm just a fan of just not worrying about things that aren't in your control, because it's just exhausting. Like, why? We've all got too many things to worry about. So I think, no, I wouldn't worry about that unless you're talking about something very specific. I don't know, but I mean, no. Do you have something specific in mind?
Really, what I was leading you on to saying, don't worry about anything that's not in your control. Really. You know, it's because again, everything you're saying is really for me, it's the shoulder. As many of actors as possible here, shoulders should be dropping as you're talking. That really our job is to do, you know, this Bryan Cranston thing about our job is to go in and act and do our thing and then leave and just move on. But it is to do the acting side of it, to bring choices to the part that we feel instinctively suit, to commit to it, to maybe give a couple of options and then get on with the rest of your life. It feels like it's as simple as that, really.
You'd hope it would be. But, you know, I think we as humans, we just want to complicate it, don't we? And it's hard in this industry not to be second guessing and not to be doubting over anything, over your performance or whatever it is. But I think ultimately, your job is just to come in and give us some options, which is like exciting. Like that's the fun bit, right? That's the bit we should all be enjoying. So I wouldn't worry about, in my opinion, I wouldn't worry about whether it's a UK or a US production, unless there was something very specific, you know, to be kept in mind. But you'd hope that if there was, your agent would raise it with you, or the casting director would raise it with you. But yeah, other than that, no, shoulders down, everybody, please. Let's have fun.
I just want to touch on control here, because it's a subject that I love talking about. And actually, as actors, you know, we would love to be cast in big productions, big shows, whatever, but actually it's not in our control to be in Rings of Power. It's not in our control to be in Ted Lasso or you know, EastEnders or Casualty or whatever. But what it is in our control is updating headshots or putting something on our show reel or emailing casting director. All these things are in our control. Everything else is out of our control. And it's just that kind of recognition of these things. It's
absolutely true. Yeah, it's absolutely true. That's where your job is. That's where I think your responsibility lies, to yourselves, to your craft, is just to keep kind of grafting on, but within your own sphere, within your own kind of everyday world. I think, and headshots is key. I will add that.
Headshots. The single most important thing of casting is headshots. It's the key. I say it every day to people. Every day. It's the key. I'm loving all these amazing questions. We don't have time for all of them, but there's a great question that I just saw. Ross. So Ross asked this great question. Thanks, Ross. And you may have touched on it earlier on, Laura, but what kind of projects do you personally like to work on? And does it kind of, does one make better, a bit more creative than the other? Or how does it work for you? Do you have any preferences?
Well, admittedly, you know, as I was saying, I do love commercials. I think they're really fun. And they're also really fun because you can see a lot of actors, which is what I enjoy. I like meeting people. I like reading with them. So for me, I do really like commercials. But in terms of creatively, I mean, it's been a gift to work on some comedy projects. Like, it's been an absolute gift, because, you know, I get to sit and watch hilarious self-tapes, and I get to sit in on like really hilarious auditions, and like, you know, that is the best part of the job. So that's been really enjoyable. I was a bit hesitant actually though about working on some big TV projects, because there is so much red tape and it can get really frustrating sometimes and can be a little bit limiting to the kind of creative process. So I know it's the dream for many, but it's maybe different to how you would expect. Not to say that it's not exciting, and not to say that it's not a privilege to work on those kind of projects, but yeah, it's certainly different. I mean, I was asked this recently, what my dream project to work on would be. I'm a total nerd, and if I could work on a period drama, I would. That's my dream. So if any of you guys are working on anything, or you've written anything with period drama vibes, send it my way. That would be my dream. But yeah, I think
I'm sure there are many writers here as well, by the way. Yeah. Write something for Laura and then send it to her. There you
go. So it's perfect networking opportunity. This is
Lauren, I think you've got feedback.
Oh, Lauren,
there's a headshot for you as well.
There you go.
That's a standout. I started off the questions in a way with the positive things that people should do. I think I'd like to also just slip in one about the biggest no-nos, the biggest do not do evers. Please don't do that again.
Right.
Ooh, okay. I'm not going to say anything too, I don't think I'm going to say anything too controversial. I mean, it is, it's quite frustrating when actors send you an email and then don't include any of their material. So no spotlight, no IMDb, no picture, nothing. It's just an email of like written content, but with no direction of like how to find them and stuff. I know that must sound really boring, but when you're like working through quite a lot of emails, it's just about time and ease. So it is so important if you can, and if you're writing to anyone, and I'm sure all of you do this. But I still get emails now with just written content. So if you are writing, please just include, like, again, it's this thing, right, like of maximizing your time, your face on my screen. Like, put your pictures in the email, put a link to your spotlight, put a link to the short film you've got up on Vimeo, like put it all in there, please, because otherwise there's a very likely chance that I just won't engage with it, or not even just me, that like anybody, like nobody will engage with it, right? But in terms of other don'ts, I mean, I don't know. I feel like usually most people are very polite and considerate, which are the main things, I think. Help me out. What are you kind of talking about, like in the room or on email?
Well, that as well. It's just, again, it's removing fears. It's removing negative chatter in our heads. And for me, it's if you don't have a lot of things that are definite no's, then everyone should just be able to get on with what they do and not worry that they're going to tread on your toes as they walk into the room, or they're going to do something that's going to ruin their chances for the rest of their career. You know, they're not going to mess it up so badly that they're never going to work in this town again. And I think it's indicative, really, Laura, that you don't have a lot of big no's that people shouldn't do, apart from the ones that would be obvious to us in any case.
Exactly. I mean, I think this is an interesting one. I know some people don't mind this, but kind of, I would, if you could, I would avoid casting yourself with your headshots. So this used to be a kind of more common, less so now, that in people's headshots they'd have one headshot where they were like looking like a banker, and then one headshot where they were like more Western cowboy, and then like a headshot where they were like, no, I'm a policeman in this one. Do you know what I mean? Like kind of slight, dare I say it, dress up vibes. And I'd say that that's less common now. You see less headshots like that, but I broadly would avoid those if you can, because they're not, I wouldn't say they're very helpful to the casting director, and I think not very helpful to you. You're already pigeonholing yourself before you've even gotten through the door. And I think it's better to have slightly more neutral headshots where it leaves the casting a bit more open, and you know, both you and I can kind of use our imagination a bit more.
I'm just ripping up my cowboy headshot as we speak.
I mean, I'd love to see it, no doubt, but
I'll send it to you later. It's all dark web material. Which brings me on to my next, it's a bit of a shift, I guess, but in this day of social media, which is not necessarily dark web, I guess, but I looked, when I was looking you up before, Laura, there's a, you end up being taken to Twitter, etc. And I noticed going on to Theo's Twitter page, I think it was her Twitter page, there are casting notes out there that have been sent out on social media.
What do I think on that?
In your experience as a casting director, casting associate, etc., what should we all do with social media, Laura?
Oh, I mean, that's a spicy question. I will first off say, like, I'm not actually a massive user of social media. You guys can look me up. I've got a very sparse Twitter page, looks very anemic and
almost nothing. I could hardly find you.
I know. Oh. And I don't have a particularly prolific Instagram either. You're welcome to look me up. It's very boring. Do you know what? I just personally don't really think that anyone would be very interested in the things I get up to. But in terms of actors, I think, I don't know.
I'm going to help you, Laura. I'm going to help you. Sorry. In terms of casting, in terms of casting, not your personal stuff, but in terms of looking for a 20 to 30-year-old actor who can break dance, how much is it used in social media? Should we all follow the casting director's social media accounts, for example? I don't know, maybe I interrupted you for no reason.
No, not at all. Do you know what? Like, I'm going to be really boring and I'm just going to say, follow them if you want to. I don't think it's necessarily going to get you a job, because you guys are all jobbing working actors, and often social media, at least in my experience, is used to find children, often doing big casting searches for children, or very specific and quite niche performers, which you guys don't get me wrong, you guys might fit the box on those particular skills that we're looking for or whatever it is, but I wouldn't say that not following a casting director is gonna preclude you from getting a job. Like, it doesn't work that way. I know social media can be very useful in commercials, often when they're looking for real people, which usually end up just being actors anyway, so you guys are already one step ahead. Again, but that's cheaper. Something that
they're actors anyway, but they cost less because they're real people.
Yes, but again, it's that thing of like advertising agencies thinking they want real people, and then as casting directors kind of gently leading them to, oh, but there are people who know how to do this on screen and they can do it really well. So I think you guys are already ahead on that one. But yeah, I mean, if you want to follow casting directors, like, absolutely. Like, if it feels good for you and it feels like you're more in touch with what their work they're doing, the taste, like what they're into, what their taste is, their tone on things, then absolutely. But I know for some people, social media just like does no good for their brains, and I'd say then absolutely don't do it. I think it's each to their own. But I stand by my original answer that it's not going to stop you from getting a job if you don't follow all of the TDG members.
There's a great question that's come in that I've just read from Hattie. Thanks, Hattie. And Hattie talks about something that I get asked a lot about. If you don't have a great deal of footage on your showreel, or perhaps you just need to update your showreel, just doing some self-tapes at home, in my opinion, is perfect. Not a monologue. I don't like monologues, but just a self-tape is perfect. Like, 2 or 3 scenes, 15, 20 seconds each. That's perfect, right?
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely. Again, the more time I get to look at your face, the more time I get to look at your performance, it's only going to be benefiting me and you. So I think it's also really good to keep your skills honed as well. I think if you haven't done anything in a little while, like a nice little self-tape and popping that on your spotlight, I think that can be really useful for how you guys feel, and also just kind of continually honing your craft. And it's just so useful for us. We just get to see, as well as like what you're into, what kind of choices you make, what you feel like on screen. So yeah, again, 100% put things up. It's always going to be a joy.
Awesome. Daniel, do you have anything else before we go?
Well, I was just thinking again about about special skills, really, and about how much it's, people get concerned maybe that we are inundating or troubling you by sending you stuff, but it actually helps you if you know that somebody can do parkour, for example, and you're casting somebody who's got, do you keep files for people's skills, or do you filter on Spotlight? Does that ever come up?
Yeah, absolutely. All of the above. So yeah, sometimes you will go this sounds more crude than it is, but you might go on a what we call a for something list. So if we really like you, you've got some really niche skills, you go on a for something list, like, God, we really like them, we need to remember them for that something. Like, so you go on these really great lists that we keep to keep on top of everything. And then also on Spotlight, like, it's so helpful if you guys can put all like skills you actually have on Spotlight, because then we can filter, and it's so useful. It's really good. So if you've got some really great skills, if you're highly skilled at synchronized swimming or archery or whatever it is, definitely put it up on your spotlight. Yeah.
So, for example, I'm just seeing next to you on my screen is Bernard O'Sullivan, and Bernard used to be a barrister for many years, and so I want to use you as an example, Bernard, just as a question. So, on his spotlight page, is it? I don't know. What do you think if he had ex-barrister of X amount of years or something? Is that just?
I think he has got it on his spotlight page as well.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
I think it can be really interesting. I think it can definitely give a tone to an actor, and I think it can definitely help you understand where they're coming from and what their casting bracket might be. I think it would have to be a case by case. I wouldn't want to say like across the board, like include those kind of details. Because again, I wouldn't want to pigeonhole anybody. I wouldn't want Bernard to only now have barrister castings. Like, that would be my only concern. But I think often if you've got a body of work that you can also show alongside that, then that's really rich, and that shows casting directors, okay, so they can do all these different things, and they've done that bit of comedy and they've done that bit of legal drama, and isn't that interesting that they're also a barrister? That's really handy to know. But I think maybe if you don't have much on your spotlight profile, or you don't have much of a show reel, then that kind of information, it could be that it pigeonholes you. But again, it would really have to be kind of a case by case. And I'm sorry, I know that isn't the clearest of answers, but I wouldn't want to rule kind of universally on that, because I think that's quite a unique thing.
I think what I'm getting from what you're saying is that we have to think about these things and consider should we do this or not. And I just want to say, Catherine Rees has just said that I can do synchronized swimming. So
good to know. All right, you're going on the for something list for synchronized.
Well done, Catherine. Well done. Get in there. And now we're going to have a whole selection of other people also saying they can do synchronized swimming, and we can get a team together, synchronized.
We have about 5 minutes left, and we thought it would be nice if I've just got everyone back on gallery view now, and just for everyone just to quickly go around the room, say your name and your agent, and if you have an agent, if you don't have an agent, just say self-represented, just to kind of it just kind of makes everyone feel a little bit more inclusive. Would that work for everyone?
And I'll read them out. I'll just read out a name, okay. And if you could immediately come on, and if you, I'm not going to do it for those of you who haven't got your cameras on, I'm afraid, because unless anyone can convince me otherwise it's just a name, and there's 4 people. So should I start, Dan? Should I just whip round
absolutely.
My thing? Yeah. So a name and agent, immediately unmute yourself when I say your name. We've got Bernard O'Sullivan.
Bernard O'Sullivan, represented by Union Management.
There you go. Gabriella Cooper-Parsons.
Gabriella Cooper-Parsons, represented by Brood Management.
Tony Brooks. Muted.
Tony Brooks, represented by Long Run Artists.
Lauren Santana.
Hi, Lauren Santana, represented by Nancy Hudson Associates.
Esther Agbakwuru.
Hi, I'm Esther Agbakwuru, and I'm represented by CS Management. Sorry, I'm just on my way home.
And it's raining outside by the looks of it. Cecile Sinclair.
Hi, Cecile Sinclair. I'm represented by Karina Skinner Management.
Xander.
Alexander Aaron Cohen, and I'm represented by Atwell Artist Management.
Abby, ABBI.
Hi, I'm Abby Stevenson. I'm represented by VS Management and by Liz Mercado's Associates in New York.
Michael Siegel.
Hi, I'm Michael Siegel, and I am with EOC Management.
Thank you. James Millen.
Hi, I'm James Millen, and I'm self-repped.
Naomi Bowman.
Hi, thank you so much for the talk. I'm Naomi Bowman. I'm represented by Eaglestone Management.
Hitesh.
Hi there, my name is Hitesh Garaj, and I'm with Union Management.
Claire Burrows.
Hi, I'm Claire Burrows. I'm currently self-represented.
Polly.
Hi, I'm Polly Dennett, and I'm self-represented and still at drama school.
Mario Bob.
Mario Bob, I'm represented by Fusion Management.
Sarah E. Mitchell.
Hey, I'm Sarah E. Mitchell. I'm represented by Alexander White Agency in Atlanta.
Mark Brent.
Hi, Laura. I'm Mark Brent. I'm represented by Greg Millard.
Anita Albrecht.
G'day, Anita here with EOC Management.
Juliet Prue.
Hi, Laura. I'm represented by Advocate Agency.
Dominic Chambers.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dominic. I'm self-represented.
Luke Sukdeo.
Hello all, I'm Luke Sukdeo and I am self-represented.
Theo Maddox.
Hi, I'm Theo Maddox and I am unrepresented.
Kat Hamilton-Smith and Dog.
Hi, I'm Kat Hamilton-Smith and I am also self-represented and a dog mum as well.
Elizabeth Gartside.
Hello, thank you, Laura. I'm Elizabeth Gartside and I am represented by MJK Casting. Thank you.
Rhonda Sabrina Howell. Muted, so Sarah Stuckens. I'll come back to you, Rhonda, next.
Yes, I'm Sarah Stuckens.
Hello, I am unread at the moment.
Okay. Sarah?
Yeah, I'm Sarah Stuckens. I'm represented by Crawford Talents in Berlin and I'm based in Belgium.
Ross Bayliss.
Ross Bayliss, Union Management.
Lynn Gray.
Good morning from sunny Southern California. I'm Lynn Gray. Pleasure to meet you all. And I'm
Okay. Anita Ulrich.
Hi, I'm Annika Ulrich and I'm represented by Wanda Talent Agency.
Marie Williamson.
Hi, I'm Marie Williamson and I'm represented by Nina Lee Management.
And Sophie Marie.
Hi, Laura. I'm Anne-Sophie Marie. I'm with Union Management and I write period drama.
She does. She's very good and she's a very published writer as well. Indy.
Hi, Laura. Yeah, my name's Indy Singh and I'm represented by JL Associates.
Elka.
Hi, I'm Elka Lee Green and I'm represented by EOC Management.
Anya Sayadarian.
Sayadian, hi. Hello, I'm Anya Sayadian and I'm represented by the lovely Fiona Cross Management. And thank you so much for casting me in something fantastic last year. Thank you.
I'm so glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you. It's great fun. Thank you.
Tammy.
Hi, Laura. I'm Tammy Appenzeller, represented by Union Management.
Sting Chung. Muted? No.
Hi, my name is Shing. I'm represented by EOC Management. Thank you so much.
Very nice. Ashley Screeton.
Hello, I'm Ashley Screeton. I'm represented by Gemma from GLS Talent Management.
Florina.
Hi, my name is Karina Valano. I'm represented by Neil Wilson from Newlands Global Talent.
Katie Cannon.
Hi, I'm Katie Cannon and I'm represented by Nancy Hudson.
Shreya Lalu.
Hi, my name's Shreya Lalu. I'm training at drama school and I'm with SCA Management.
This seemed like such a good idea like 15 minutes ago. Megan Thorne.
Hi, my name's Megan Thorne and I'm with ID Talent.
Thank you. Ria Lopez.
Hello, I'm Ria Lopez. I'm represented by Hatch Talent.
Chantel. Hello, Chantel.
Hello, Daniel. Chantal Rance, represented by Union Management.
Chantel has thousands of followers on social media.
I knew you were going to say that. Knew it.
Vic Kay.
Hi, I'm Victoria Kay. Cheers, Laura, for this and the lads for hosting. And my agent is EOC Management.
Lots of EOC. Gabriella Shanova.
Hi, yeah, almost correct. Gabriella Chanova, and I'm graduating, so currently self-represented. Thank you.
Jennifer Varda.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Varda and I'm represented by EOC Management.
Helen Wu.
Helen White, yeah. Represented by Red Talent Management.
And and everyone's moved around because people go and go. Ashley Screeton, did you already go yet?
Yeah, you've had me.
I've had you already. Megan Thorne, have I had Megan? Yeah, I have. So I think if there's any, Kat Kumar, I haven't had you.
Not me. Hi, Laura. Thank you so much. I'm Kat Kumar, and I'm represented by Williamson and Holmes.
Oh, everyone moved around again. Rupert.
Hi there. Hi, Laura. Lovely to see you again. Thanks so much for your lovely words at the beginning. And I'm represented by the gorgeous Danny and Co at Union.
Monica.
Hi, I'm Monica Riley, and I'm represented by TTA.
Deborah Tassila.
Yes, you actually guessed it. So hi, I'm Deborah Tassila from Brazil. You can say Deborah Takayla if it's easier for you. And I'm currently self-represented, seeking representation.
Hattie Hillard.
Hi, I'm Hattie Hillard, and I'm also self-represented.
Matty Finley.
Hi, I'm Matt Finley, and I'm represented by Simon Ponton at Soundcheck Group.
I've got Catherine Rees, who's a synchronized swimmer.
Hi, I'm Catherine. Yes, I'm the synchronized swimmer, and I'm represented by Shelley Lowry in Ireland and Chris Davis Management in London.
Adam Stevens.
Hi, I'm Adam Stevens, and I'm another one from the EOC management team.
Okay, I think is anyone raised their hand? I think we're done.
I think that's everyone.
That's everyone. God, that was not easy, and I'm never going to do that again, ever. Anyone?
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, no, that's.
You can get a job on University Challenge now, though.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you, everyone, for showing up. Laura, it's been a pleasure. I really appreciate you coming along. Thank you so much.
Not at all. Thank you, guys. Really lovely to meet you all. Thank you.
Thank
Everyone.
you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank
Everyone,
you.
do stay in touch with us if you want to know more about who we are and what we do. We have these every month. So do send us an email if you want to be part of the mailing list and want to join in on any of our sessions.
Yeah, we do acting classes, we do casting director workshops. In fact, Laura,
yes,
maybe we are twisting Laura's arm. We're twisting Laura's arm to come and do a workshop for us in a few weeks' time. So if you're interested, in doing a casting director workshop with the most amazing Laura Macfadden, who's very lovely. I'm really pleased that I've been proven right on that note. Then email us immediately at hello@actorsci.com. hello@actorsci.com to find out more details. We will stick you on the list. We've only got limited amounts. And yes, so if you want to do a workshop with Laura, go for it.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone, for being here.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Morning.
Thank
whatever
you.
it is.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's giving me a headache. I'm getting flushes. I'm getting head things. Go, everybody, apart from Laura and Danny.
Please leave us. Thank you.
Yeah, just go. Get out. Get out.